It matters what you put into your head. It matters what you put into your brain. It matters for your relationships. It matters for the health of your mentality and just your body in general. Because the things you're consuming, the things you are letting into your thoughts, it matters. It forms your reality. And people talk a lot about alcohol addiction, drug addiction, all these different kinds of addiction, even addiction to being physical with other people, you know, hookup culture, or being addicted to consuming explicit content. And a lot of people, they live their life on autopilot. They don't see anything wrong with it. And that's all good and fine. The problem is, it's not a problem until it is a problem. And when it becomes a problem, then it's a serious problem. And if people live on autopilot, if they don't have the ability to self-reflect, then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I guess this is a problem now. I guess now I have to go to therapy. I guess now I have to do something about it. And then you start struggling because it all feels overwhelming. Where am I going to find a therapist? Where am I going to find help? You know, it's not that easy. Like, you need to take proactive steps to actually get there. But if you don't see anything wrong with it, and only when other people around you start addressing it, that it becomes an issue and it starts affecting you, there's going to be a disconnect in your relationships versus the relationship you have with yourself. You will just not understand the way people are reacting towards you. And this is the same thing with all these online dating phenomena, or like, you know, modern dating phenomena in general, is that there's a disconnect between, why is this person treating me this way? I didn't do anything. I acted accordingly, and I don't understand why I'm receiving this kind of treatment, but you also contributed to the way it is now. Why? Because you're making yourself addicted to all these ideals. First of all, the content you're consuming is greatly affecting the way you see yourself and the way you see other people. You will not have a healthy relationship if you consume all this content online and you think to yourself, you know what, I'm never going to find a boyfriend like that. I'm never going to find a girlfriend that looks like that. I'm never going to find a man that takes care of me like that. I'm never going to be XYZ. Yeah, you might not be that, because that is fake and that doesn't exist. And also, if you think that the grass is always greener somewhere else, you will simply not be happy. And that is what happens with all these things that people discuss nowadays on the internet, especially when it comes to relationships. They're like, you need to be a certain kind of man or a certain kind of woman to enter into a relationship. You need to have a certain amount of money. You need to have your life figured out in order to earn it. First of all, you don't need to earn love. Love is there. You should have it, and it's okay to admit that you want it. That's completely fine. It's natural, and you don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to figure out whether it is because society wants you to have love or be in love, or, you know, push evolution and that part of the equation, or if it's something that you actually want. But if you do want it, then that's the first indicator of, okay, it's something I want in my life, and that's fine. You don't have to feel ashamed about it. So in order to get love, in my personal opinion, you don't have to be a specific, optimized, maximized, perfect looking being version of yourself. I think you are worthy of love just by yourself and just the way you are. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, you can always work on yourself, but you can do these things in a relationship. However, what you do need is absolutely the ability to reflect yourself and to understand, how am I affecting people around me? How do I react? How do I communicate? You need a certain understanding of yourself. You need to have a certain amount of character. If you don't have character, you will allow treatment that will make you unhappy, and in turn also make the other person unhappy and make people around you unhappy, because you will go yapping to all your friends about how horrible your boyfriend is, or how horrible your relationship is, or how horrible your girlfriend is, or whoever you're seeing, and you will think to yourself, wow, you know, I'm not happy. But also, you're not going to leave, because you're like, I would rather be in a relationship than be alone. So I think social media is a great contributor in this mindset of everything is better on the other side. You know, if I just do XYZ and turn myself into this better version of myself, if I'm just well traveled and successful and I become this cultural phenomena, I'm going to feel better about myself and I'm going to finally love myself, and then other people can love me. Newsflash, self-love is a long, long journey, and you will not love yourself every single day of your life, because that would mean that you're always perfect, which you cannot be. You're human, you have emotions, and within that you will already make mistakes, and that is important for your growth. It's important for you to make those mistakes, and it's important to say, I wasn't happy with my actions. I wasn't happy with my actions. I feel bad about that, because that shows remorse, it shows regret, it shows empathy, it shows all these emotions that you need to have in order to enter a relationship. So I think taking time off from these ideals and all these different influences to actually figure out who you are by yourself, just logging out, taking some time apart, because all these social media games, they're all ego driven. It's all ego driven in this world, and it has such a narcissistic connotation, because everything just plays into either lifting you up or pushing you down. But it's always you at the center of that universe, and that's just simply not how it works when you want to truly build genuine connection with people. And this is why I say you need character. And in order to build character, you need silence. So you need distance. You need distance from all these things that are affecting you in negative ways. And social media and consuming substances, all these things, peer pressure, that's all part of it. It's all part of it. So you need silence, you need distance to build character. And why else is character important? It's because you need standards. You need to know who you are. You need to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, and if you don't have character, then it's going to be very easy for people to manipulate you and get you in these situations that will make you so unhappy. You can look at yourself in the mirror right now and see 1 million things that are wrong with you. But are these things actually wrong because you believe that it is wrong, or because you were made to believe that it is wrong, because you saw somebody else who had a similar flaw to yours and they erased it because society made them believe this is not good, we don't condone this, so they erased it by getting plastic surgery or by doing XYZ to optimize themselves, which is totally their right. But why do you want it, and why do you think it's wrong? Why do you think it's wrong to look a certain way? Is it because it's actually wrong to look that way, or is it because you were made to believe, you were taught to believe that that is wrong, and society punishes you for it? And then internally you start to believe, oh, this is actually wrong, and if I fix this one thing about myself, then I'm going to have a better life. Yeah, maybe some things are going to get easier, but you will not be happier. You will not be more fulfilled. What's truly going to change your life is allowing silence. It's allowing boredom. It's allowing your character to evolve and build, and it's also allowing failure. And it's allowing yourself to be ugly. It's allowing yourself to be ungraceful and unelegant, because that is going to in turn strengthen your character, and it's going to show you what you actually want and what your priorities are. And the more stable you are as a human being within your character, the less it is likely that people will manipulate you and take advantage of you. And it's a huge problem that people feel taken advantage of whenever they are vulnerable within their relationships or within their friendships, whatever. But when they start to feel like their vulnerability is being taken advantage of, is when you have a huge issue, because you feel like that vulnerability is wrong. It's harmful, which it is not harmful. What is harmful is you believing that you are being punished for having emotions. You're not being punished for having emotions. You're being punished for the fact that you care so much about how somebody else feels about your emotions and how they react to it. So you think that it is wrong to feel a certain way because of how somebody else reacted and how they made you feel. But if your character is strong, if you're stable within your character and within your principles, then what's going to happen is that someone can react a certain way to you, and you'll be like, okay, cool. That's you. That's your reaction. And I'm going to do me.